Every city, every town, every environment that you're in whispers a message to you in your ear. Michael McLean, brassballsvideos.com. I'm an ex-professional hockey coach, ex-amateur hockey coach, turned 8-figure entrepreneur. I'm a husband, a father, and a small business owner just like you. There's a saying in my book that you can download for free below, 5 ways to unfuck your life in the next 30 days. There's a quote that I love in the book that says, environment is for champions, willpower is for chumps. I had a 17-year-old guy come up to me and ask me some advice when I was in Orlando last week. He's a guy who bought my book and my newsletter, and he said, Coach, I'm 17 years old. I don't want to go to college. I don't want to go to university. I don't really want to, start that kind of debt. I don't want a regular, job. I don't want to spend the next 4 years in the classroom. So I said to him what I ask anyone. I said, what do you really want? What do you really want to do with your life? What's not just your interest, or what are you obsessed with? I said, what are you obsessed with? What would be your mission? At this age, what's your dream? What are you obsessed with? What are you willing to go all in on? And what are you obsessed with? And he said, Coach, I want to be in politics. I want to be in politics. And I said, okay. I said, where do you live? And he said, well, I live in Norman, Oklahoma. And I said, okay, you're in Norman, Oklahoma. You're 17 years old. I said, you graduated from high school. He says, yes. I said, you're asking my advice, what I would do if I were you? He said, yes. And I said, very simple. I said, I would sit down today and I would literally go online and I would message 100, 200, 300 people, whether they're politicians, whether they're governors, whether they're whatever they are, anybody and everybody that has power in government. And I said, I would literally message 100 people today. I would message 100 people tomorrow. I would message 100 people the next day. I would message 100 people the next day until I had literally messaged 500 people in Washington, D.C. I said the next thing, when you message them, you introduce yourself, and you offer to work for free. I'm Michael McLean. I'm 17 years old. It is my dream to work in Washington, to make a difference, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm willing to work for free, to learn the business, to learn the industry, to work for somebody like you. And that's the message. 500 of those messages. Massive, violent action taking. And then I said, I would move to Washington. I would move to Washington. You ain't going to be a politician in Norman, Oklahoma. You ain't going to be anybody in politics in Cleveland, Ohio. You got to get where the game is played. You got to get where the game is played. You got to get to the city or the town or the locker room. You got to get around whatever is going to whisper in your ear what you need to hear every day. We live here in Naples for half the year because I need lifestyle, abundance. I need that energy whispered in my ear. I need it whispered in my daughter's ear. I need it whispered in my queen's ear. That this is the city of abundance. When I walk around here, I go into Dunkin' Donuts to get a coffee. I'm standing beside a multi-millionaire. I could be standing beside a billionaire. Nobody would ever know. But this city whispers in my ear. It whispers abundance. It whispers lifestyle, build autonomy and personal sovereignty. Because people in Naples here, probably the number one quality of life city in America. But what this place tells me every waking minute I'm here is, Michael, you can do even better. Michael, you can do even better. This place inspires me. This place motivates me. I run into champions and winners all the time. People here want to know what I do when I'm talking to them at the pickleball or the tennis courts. Unlike, in Canada, they want to know what the hell. Michael, I see you, I read your book or I watch your videos. Tell me more about your business. This place is dripping with high performance people. And high performance people want other people to win. So when my wife and my daughter and I moved here during the China virus, we got immersed in winning. We got immersed in building championship lifestyle and business because everyone around here is so supportive. Everybody here has an abundance mindset. And some people are wealthy, some people are super wealthy. But everybody here wants other people to win. I mean, there's a few people who don't care about other people, but most people I meet are like, tell me, Michael, tell me about your business, tell me about your family. So this is the city, the environment that I need to be in because it whispers that to me. It whispers, Michael, abundance everywhere. It whispers, you can do even better. It whispers, it whispers that high frequency energy. I want to do better for my wife, for my daughter, for myself, every second I'm here. This place whispers winning to me. When I was climbing the minor pro and the junior hockey industry as a young man, coaching 24, 25 years old, coaching players that had played in the NHL and things like that, I had to get where the hockey world was. I couldn't stay in my small community and coach Pee-wee tyke hockey. I had to find a guy like Wayne Maxner, one of the greatest junior coaches in history, NHL coach. I had to get around him. I had to move where he was. I had to keep moving where he went. I had to get around it and smell the leather. I had to get around it and smell the leather. I had to go where great hockey coaches are created. I had to go to the cities and the towns and the locker rooms to get around that whisper of you can do this. This is going to be hard. This is going to be difficult, but you can do it. And the same for this kid. I said, listen, pack your bags and move to Washington. After you've private messaged these people, 500 people in Washington and offered to work for free, pack your bag and get a cheap place to live and start, bartending or waiting on tables. Because you're going to have to pay your bills for a couple of years while you work for free. So the greatest industries to do that in are in the restaurant industry, the bar industry. Get to Washington, get a cheap place to live as simple as you possibly can, and just pay the bills for a year or two. And go all in on working for somebody in Washington for free. I said, that's how it starts. You literally get paid in experience. And somebody who's got impact, who's got influence, somebody powerful in Washington is going to take you up. You'll probably have a few offers. Here's a kid that wants to work for free. And you know what? He's willing to sleep on a couch. He's willing to put in the long hours. And you go there and you show up early every day and you do more than they expect. They want you to work 8 hours, work 10, and you just keep working and working and working, and you never mention money. You pay your bills with a side part-time job. Doesn't matter if you got to dig ditches or cut grass or whatever. Suck it up. Put your big boy pants on. But after a year or two, this person that you have gone all in with is then going to give you a job. And it's probably going to be a low-paying job. That's how football coaches do it. They start like Nick Saban and Bill Belichick and all these guys. They start as unpaid graduate assistants just to get around Parcells, just to get around a Vince Lombardi. They start as unpaid graduate assistants, and then they literally work 100 hours a week for free. They learn the football business from one of these legends. Could be hockey, could be basketball. And then after a year or two, they prove themselves. And then the coach then gives them just enough to live on. And Belichick used to talk about, 6 guys living in one apartment, working for him with the Patriots to get around Brady, to get around Belichick. And all they did was work and sleep, work and sleep. And these guys, half these guys are now head coordinators or head coaches in the NFL. And I did the same thing. I slept on couches. I slept in the office, anything to follow Maxner around. And then finally he gave me, $300 and then $500. And then the next thing I know, he hires me as an assistant coach and I can pay the bills. And then finally, I become the youngest head coach in minor pro hockey at the age of 25. And that's all because I got around where I needed to be. I got in the towns, the cities, I got in the environments, I got in the locker rooms that whispered to me and basically said, you can do this. So really, really important. And for this young guy in Washington, like I say, 2 years, but it probably won't even take that. If he goes in there and he, goes all in and burns the boats and does a really good job for this person, I don't see how, that can't be like a year. But he's going to have to sacrifice. He's going to have to get a part-time job to pay the bills. And that's the power of environment. There's nothing, my friend, more powerful than environment. And association is the biggest part of environment. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? So, if you hang out with 5, if you hang out with 5 millionaires, it's not long until you're the 6th. If you hang out with 5 people that are in the best shape of their life, they go to the gym every day, they eat clean, you're going to be the 6th person who's in the best shape of your life. If you hang out with a $1 million marketer or advertiser, it's only a matter of time until you're the next one. That's the incredible, incredible power of environment. And if you want to be a millionaire, hang around millionaires. If you want to be a world's best copywriter, hang around other great copywriters. So I've had clients where their kid, their daughter, wants to be a music star, wants to be a star, right? And he's like, you know what? He said, take 2 years, move to LA, or move to. She wanted to be on Broadway. My 11-year-old talks about that. And this guy's like, move to New York City, live in a crappy apartment, share the rent with somebody. She's working tables as a waitress, and she's going on hundreds of auditions throughout the 2 years. She's giving herself a minimum 2 years to make this dream a reality. And she's living simple. She's got a part-time job on the side. She's paying her bills, and she's just going on audition after audition after audition. And, my daughter, she's 11 and she loves the theater. She's in lots of productions. She goes, Daddy, I'd love to be on Broadway someday. And we had this conversation not long ago. I said, for that to happen, you're going to have to get in the city that whispers that to you. You're going to have to get around the people that whisper that to you. You're going to have to get around and you're going to have to pay the price to make that happen. So it doesn't matter. Every city, every town, every locker room, every business whispers to you. I know guys that want it to be startup kings, right? So the first thing they did, they sold all their stuff, they packed their bags, and they moved to San Francisco. If especially in the past, if you want it to be a startup, if you want to get involved in tech startups, you got to be in San Fran. And they did, and they slept on couches, and they lived simple, and they bussed tables, and they bartended, and they saved their money, and they got around it. They smelled the leather. They got around it, and they smelled the leather. And that's what I'm doing here in Naples, is for 6 months a year, like I'm in the winning business, right? I sell winning. I sell championship life. Well, I got to get around and smell the leather. I got to be around it. I got to be around winning. I got to be around people that talk about winning. I got to be around people that are on a mission. I got to be around people that are serving other people. I got to be around people that have won in the past and are still winning. I got to get around it and smell the leather. So that was my advice to that young man who wanted to work in politics. He might be the president of the United States down the road. He's only 17. That's the advice, I give to anybody that's struggling. I'm like, you gotta move. You gotta physically move. It wakes you up. It snaps you out of your comfort zone. My daughter's been to 6 schools on purpose. Like, Army brats are the most balanced kids, the grittiest kids. I've hired a lot of Army brats when they grew up into adults. And I'm like, you know, you're so resourceful and you're so self-responsible and you're so mentally tough. And they're like, oh, I lived in 11 cities or 11 towns and I went to 19 schools. So my wife, Krista, and I, we started moving around on purpose. And my daughter, who's 11, has been in 6 different schools, including homeschooling. And this has given her self-esteem and self-confidence and friends everywhere, where she can walk into a classroom or an auditorium or a hockey rink and not know anybody. And she'll just instantly introduce herself. But it's given her grit. It's given her resourcefulness and mental toughness. And it's built her self-esteem. I can walk into any environment and make it work. And this is why I love being in Naples. Is this place, the energy when I get up in the morning, it speaks to me. The energy here is, Michael, smell the leather. You can serve more people. You can help more people. You can be more motivational, more inspired. You can be a better husband. You can be a better father. That's what this city, that's what this country, that's what this state does for me. So if you're in a funk, or you're struggling, or you have a son or a daughter and they're wondering, okay, how do I make my dream come true? Whether they're a songwriter, whether they want to be an author, whether they want to be an entrepreneur, whatever it is, they got to get where it is. They got to move, and they got to get around the environment where that community, that town, the people there, that's all they do, that's all they know, and that gives them the best chance to win. That there is so much power. Environments for champions. Willpower is for chumps. You can download a free copy of my book, 5 Ways to Unfuck Your Life in the Next 30 Days. It's a free PDF below, 22 pages. You can read it in 20 minutes. My free gift to you. Not everybody, admittedly, not everybody's cup of whiskey, that book. If it's your cup of whiskey, you can download it below at the bottom. Remember, every city, every town, every environment will whisper in your ear. Make sure you're in the right environment for the dreams, the aspirations, and the mission you have, so that all of that energy and frequency is pulling you in the right direction. Get into the environment where it's a stacked deck. Get into an environment or city where you've got an extra player on the field, where you give yourself the best chance to win. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that can change yours. Be relentless.